Hello all, this is the third video on this channel where I'm going to be taking a look at a vinyl record. This time I will be showing you Ghosts 1 to 4 by Nine Inch Nails. Nine Inch Nails are my favourite band, and Trent Reznor truly never stops impressing with his musical releases, Ghosts being no exception, and in my personal opinion is probably Nine Inch Nails' best work this side of The Fragile, although Ad Violence was an absolute blasphemy as well. Of the Halo chronology of releases, Ghost stands at Halo 26. Ghosts holds a special place in my heart as the album that came out on April 8th, 2008 in the United States, around when I was 13 years old, and it really set the mood for those daydreamy, moody teenage years, and listening to the album through now, it brings back nostalgic, carefree thoughts of having no responsibility. Of course, this is a very personal experience, but I really do love this album, and Trent Reznor himself even stated it as an album for daydreams, which he also says on the sticker on the front cover, so yeah. What's particularly interesting about this release is that it's more or less entirely instrumental. There's some sampled vocals, but as a whole, it's pretty raw Nine Inch Nails, industrial, dark, ambient, and relaxing all at once. Each song is a product of 10 weeks of experimental and improvised music, which was then arranged into 36 untitled songs, spread across 4 different discs on this final release and 2 CDs on the the CD release. So it's pretty pure music in that sense. So, Ghost 1 to 4 was released independently from Nine Inch Nails' previous record label Interscope and was instead released independently under Trent Reznor's The Null Corporation label, and even better, under the Creative Commons license BY-NC-SA, which means that the music can be freely shared, remixed, and used for non-profit purposes, provided, of course, credit is given to the original source. All things considered, this is an amazing way of releasing music, and through a file sharing service was how I actually first acquired the album originally. Being a young teenager with no money, I didn't end up acquiring the album physically until some years later. Nine Inch Nails and perhaps even Trent Reznor himself actually released the first part of the album, so Ghosts 1, on Pirate Bay, which was really cool, and it's actually still up there. You can still download it, the torrent is still active. Irregardless, this package consists of 4 180-gram standard black vinyl discs, which are played at 33 rotations per minute. Like all good record packaging, the artwork is fantastic and suits the mood of what the listener is getting themselves into. It's a hazy, noisy cover that looks like a sand dune pressed against a bleak and depressing sky. It's surrealist and strange, but not entirely unpleasant. The big sticker on the front is a bit distracting and ugly with the huge logo in contrasting black, but it is just a sticker, and I'm sure some people braver than me have removed it from the package. I just don't want to cause any damage if I can avoid doing so, so I'm just going to leave it on there. Rob Sheridan, a longtime collaborator of Trent Reznor, was responsible for the art direction of Ghosts and was actually nominated for a Grammy Award for it. Each track is accompanied by a photograph, some surreal, some of the studio where the music was made, but all kind of help set the tone of the individual songs that they're accredited to. In the description below, I'll post a link to the full gallery so you can browse them all, which I highly recommend doing, especially if you're going to give the album a listen. The back cover more or less confirms there being a sand dune on the front cover, and again it really complements the daydreamy, wistful atmosphere the album ended up achieving. The inside features a double-page spread of the accompanying photograph to 12 Ghosts 2. I love the use of space in this image, and the continued uniform use of moody beiges and greys. The top left spread also features the album credits including track personnel, thank yous, and Creative Commons license it was released under. One thing I really enjoy about Nine Inch Nails releases, and this can pretty much be credited to all of them, is the real care that's given into the design and aesthetics. I really like how small and compact this text is. It doesn't take up much room at all. Now, unfortunately, the biggest letdown of this release is the disc sleeves, which are just they're very basic white slips with 2 discs crammed into each side of the gatefold sleeve. I think it was a real missed opportunity to not have each disc in its own individual cardboard slip, perhaps featuring some of the aforementioned accompaniment photography or something else along those lines. It's just a shame that the rest of the design is so nice, and this unfortunately just lets the whole release down somewhat. One thing I do like about the discs, however, is the use of images around the centre, with the A side of each disc featuring a series of images showing birds flying in sequence, whilst the B side shows an aeroplane taking off into the distance, which is a nice touch. Here's just a quick look at the spread of the back package, and then the entire contents all at once. I don't really have much else to say about these, but I just think the whole design is really, really nice, so I just want to show it off as much as possible. Now, as a little bonus, because I enjoy this album so much, I just quickly wanted to show you the CD release as well. I don't have much to say about it beyond what I've already said regarding the vinyl release, although it is nice that it features some different artwork on the inside and actually includes a little booklet of moody photography with some album credits on the last few pages. One thing I really like about Nine Inch Nails releases is that the CD albums, with the exception of a few like Pretty Hate Machine before its re release, are in cardboard packaging instead of plastic crystal cases, which I feel is so much nicer. Although, granted, if you're going to be moving the case around a lot, it could get damaged very easily, but for collectors or just for putting it on a shelf in a music room, it's ideal. Anyway, that's it. A look at Ghost 1 to 4 on vinyl, one of my personal favourites, and something you have no excuse not to listen to. It's free. Thanks for watching.